What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a great day out there today. Guys, you know, I was debating for a while on making this video between the two cars. Now, obviously, this isn't a true... It's a Kraton 6S, however, it's an extended one. So we can't compare it side by side as far as what it looks like. However, most of you guys all know what a Kraton 6S is, what it comes like, and what's with it. And we've also, as you know, with the sledge. Now, after owning the sledge here for a number of months and having a lot of fun with it, and compared to a Kraton 6S out of the box or whatever, I definitely have some beef. I have a little bit of beef with the sledge and Traxxas and the price of this car and the quality of the important parts of this car. And this is kind of what this video is going about. The differences between the Kraton 6S out of the box, the sledge out of the box, and what you're going to have into it to make it a proper car that you're not going to have a ton of issues with. And, you know, when I first got the sledge, the first few runs, the first, 2-3 bashes, everything was running pretty smoothly. But now I've just been running into reoccurring problems with the same things happening to it. And it's getting a little aggravating, and realizing what I need to do to this to make those problems go away. The price of this car is obviously getting up there. And I definitely see a lot of people are dropping comments down on my videos, talking about the sledge. And also having a lot of issues and beasts with it for the price of the car. And I can't disagree. I can't disagree at all, guys. And we're going to get into a couple of them here on this video if you guys are interested. So stay tuned, everybody. All right, so first things first, we're going to start from the top to the bottom here. The body. This is now the third body I have had on this car. Now, I could continue to let it go until it's literally flapping in the wind. But once the body clip starts snapping inside and it will no longer stay on and it's literally in pieces hanging off, I usually will change out a body. Now, these bodies were supposed to be better, made out of thicker plastic and hold up better. I am not seeing that at all, honestly. The bodies are falling apart just as fast as any RC body, whether it be Arrma, the sledge, Techno, any of them. None of the body doesn't seem to be holding up any better than any other one. Also, at first, I thought this clipless design was awesome. It's trash. I just got to be honest. I mean, guys, I'm not here. This is not a bashing video on the car. I like the sledge. It definitely drives differently. It's fun. I do have a ton of fun with it, but I'm going to be honest and tell you what, my beefs are with this car at this point. And this body, it was a great idea. However, it needed to be done a little bit differently, and it doesn't stay on. If you really do large jumps with this car, this body is blowing off every time. I thought with the clip coming in the front, it wasn't going to come off. However, it does constantly, even with a brand new body. And I've done a little mod with jamming the piece of foam in there to extend this out wider. I haven't done it on this one yet, but my other two bodies I did. But honestly, I was still having the same issue going on. It needs to have like this locking design, and then also a single body post pin that locks and you can pin it back here. It'd be perfect then, but that's not there, and we have to design something back here for that to work. Now we'll talk about something I do love about it. We'll try to go back and forth here on stuff I hate and stuff I love. Arrma Kraton, the EXB A-arms. Pretty tough, can hold up to a decent amount of stuff, but they do tend to snap. Traxxas, I will say this, they got it right with these A-arms. The A-arms on this car can put up with a ton of abuse, and just, I haven't had one break yet. So the A-arms are definitely an A+ in my book with Traxxas. They did put together a great A-arm and a design on this because they have been holding up very well. Also, the shocks. The shocks have been doing great. I haven't bent a single shock rod yet, or even broken the end, the shock eyelet. I haven't had any problems with the shocks or A-arms on this thing whatsoever. Arrma, it is definitely one weak spot with the stock ones. If you don't put the heavy duty ones on them, the shock eyelets do like to bend or break off of there all the time. And obviously broken a lot of, or bent a lot of shock rods on the 6S line. But again, that all depends on landings. But the Traxxas, I've had a decent amount of nasty landings. And so far, those A-arms and shocks have been holding up great. While we're covering underneath, this is the M2C Racing chassis I have under here. And you guys can see it has taken quite a bit of abuse. You know, also have done the same thing to every one of my 6S cars. Doesn't matter if it's the Kraton, the Italian, Typhon, did on the Techno. As you guys can see up here's my little wall of chassis starting. And there's the chassis from the Sledge. And it's all bent and twisted and pretty mangled up. Chassis on both cars, stock out of the box, are honestly trash. Neither one of them really hold up that great. Even the EXB chassis on the Kratons are not very well. They bend very easily, and definitely an M2C Racing chassis under either car is pretty much a must if you're doing some heavy bashing. Next, we'll talk about bumpers and wing mounts. Now, the bumper that they use on the Kraton EXB and now those cars, this is one of the best bumpers you can get out there, honestly, I believe. I mean, these bumpers can take a ton of abuse. The stock wing mounts don't hold up very well. This is an RPM on this one. I might be changing it out to the lower profile 3DRC wing mount. But the bumpers on the Kraton 6S, especially the XB, you cannot go wrong with them. The Sledge was kind of really stupid. They didn't really put much of a bumper on at all. This is the Garage Life RC front bumper that has been holding up awesome. But the bumpers, the front bumper on this car was pretty much non-existent and kind of a joke. The wing mount, however, got no complaints with that. Currently, I am running the stock wing mount back on here again. I had to switch it out whenever I changed my wing out. But the stock wing mount, they're pretty light and they're very durable. Have no complaints with those. Real quickly touch base on tires. The Sledgehammer tires, I kind of like them, but the foams inside do not hold up well or very long at all. Nice design. They hook up well, but poor materials inside. The tires on the Arrmas, the copper heads and stuff like that, kind of the same way. They're not a bad tire, but they do not hold up or last very long. The foams fall apart very quickly on either one of the cars. Let's touch base on battery compartments. Arrma has always loved using the Velcro straps. They are tried and true. They hold up well. A little more finicky, obviously, for anybody getting them in and out of there. But once you're used to them, it's, you don't even think about it. They hold up well. Don't really have too many problems with it, but it does take a little more time to get your battery in there. Traxxas put this design together, and honestly, other than slamming into a side of a post or something, and I broke a chunk of mine, love this design that Traxxas put together for the batteries. I mean, it's super easy, especially for people starting out. Super easy to slide the battery in and not clip it. And then you got to use these little clips to keep it retained, because as Trevor realized recently, he wasn't running these on his, and the battery compartment kept flying open. The battery kept ejecting. But definitely love the battery compartment design. Super easy to use. Next, we'll talk about electronics. First of all, servos that come stock in any of the Kraton 6S vehicles or any of the 6S line. Stock servos, could definitely needs improvements. Nothing great. Obviously, every one of mine I've upgraded now to the Power Hobby 23 kilogram servos. They have been holding up great, and great basher servo, absolutely. As far as the rest of electronics, all the Spectrum systems, I've either had great luck or terrible luck with them. My other Kraton 6S and the original system that was in this car burned up relatively shortly. They sent me another one. That one burned up. But oddly enough, the 6S system that has been in my Typhon since day one, I've never had a single issue with, and that car has gotten sent to the moon, and it just keeps on rolling. So it seems like it's the luck of the draw with the electronics on the Arrmas. However, I would definitely still take an Arrma system over the Traxxas electronics. Obviously, I've changed out the electronics in both of these cars, but the Arrma ESCs, the Traxxas ESCs especially, are underpowered, and most of them are junk. They don't hold up very long and have a lot of issues with them. Now, I am running the stock motor from the Traxxas Sledge in here with the Hobby Wing Max 6 motor, and this has been a great combo in this car. The motor's been holding up well so far, and most of the Hobby Wing products, they're great. They're great basher stuff. They hold up well. They can take a lot of punishment. So the electronics, they did good with the motor, it seems like, in this car, but the ESC, again, was just weak and could not drive that motor properly. So that was definitely one little downfall of that thing. The servo in the Sledge, not very fast, but so far I've actually had good luck with it. I know a lot of guys have had issues with them and had them die rather quickly. Oddly enough, mine is still kicking, still working pretty good. I did need to change out this link to a hot racing link, because the stock ones are really tight and the steering kind of gets tight and binds in certain spots. And that was one of the places I was finding some of it. So that's kind of my feelings on electronics between the two. While we're talking about the drivetrain system, now this whole forward-facing motor mount design. Now, as you guys know, a lot of guys have switched to the rear-facing. Now, I have left mine in the front because honestly, I feel this layout kind of gives this car its unique handling and characteristics that I liked out of the box. You know, if I throw the motor mount in the back and throw the same thing, basically now I'm doing the same thing as I have here. I wanted to keep it this way because it was different and I kind of like the handling characteristics, but I was running the M2C Racing center diff and motor mount, and they've been holding up awesome in here, but I am running it still in the forward-facing setup, and I'm just the way I kind of like it. But the stock setup, the motor mount design was a joke. With those little spacers and trying to get your motor mesh whenever you were really trying to gear this thing up, that stock system was way too finicky, and it was just a terrible design in my opinion. Did not like it at all. I was so excited whenever M2C Racing came out with this and was able to fully adjust your pinion and throw anything you wanted in there and not deal with that goofy little design that they put together. So that has definitely been a huge plus. Other little part we're going to touch on here are the center braces, because I think everybody I know that has one of these cars has had this problem, and I don't think I'm wrong, but I believe Aldo, King Salami, is the one that started doing this and told a bunch of us about it. The center brace connections here for the front and rear, as you can see, I have it nut and bolted. Almost all these have broken and stripped out, and then your center brace falls out, and now that's when you start causing damage. I don't know why they didn't do a nut and bolt design like this from the beginning, because it's what the car needs, unfortunately, because that system they got in there does not hold up with any kind of heavy bashing whatsoever. So that was definitely a great little design idea there, Aldo, and it's worked out great and haven't any issues with it now. Arrma has always had their big red bar running down the center with the plastic ends on it. Now, on heavy impacts and hard landings or crashes, these plastic ends do break off occasionally, but it's fail-safe, I guess. But I replaced the front one with one of these heavy-duty aluminum ones, but I left the rear plastic so that there is some weak spot in here that allows some give. All right, now comes the really sore spot that has me irritated with Traxxas and their price of this sledge, and what bothers me the most, the differentials. You can buy a stock Kraton 6S for $549, ready to run, same as the sledge. Are you going to have differential issues in the problem? Possibly. You know, a lot of Kratons have had issues with the diffs not being shimmed in the back properly and having gears go out. Now, differential problems is not uncommon with any car. However, Traxxas sells this car for $800 and advertised it as heavier differentials and better than the Kraton. Now, I have had, at this point, worse luck with the differentials in this sledge than I have any of my Kratons. Now, I'm going to say minus the Kraton EXP when it first rolled, because that was just a nightmare, and that's a whole nother that's a whole nother subject. However, the differentials in this thing, the stock monkey metal that they put together for their differentials is an absolute joke. Those gears do not hold up. And the other issue I'm finding out, and as you guys can see now, I have a brand new diff case on the rear and in the front. Because you'll notice as soon as you start blowing your gears in this thing, and you drop your diff down into the gear case, you'll start noticing more and more play down there. The case is actually stretching and deforming somehow, and it causes a lot of play. And of course, what happens when there's play in there? You're going to start blowing your ring gears out. So pretty much every time you start destroying a diff, you might as well just replace the diff case. At least that's the experience I've had so far, because the diff cases are not holding up. Now, of course, there's a fix for that, just like there is for the Kraton 6S. You know, Kraton 6S, I've been putting the hot racing differential cases on the rear or the front and the rear. Like on the new build here, it has them on the front and the rear. You can get these from Hot Racing for, I think, $55. You know, so you're looking around $110 for gear cases, front and rear, and then you're pretty well bulletproof at that point. You know, I haven't rarely had any issues with the car after doing that. However, the sledge, Hot Racing doesn't make any for it right now. So your only option is Vidavon. And Vidavon wants $100 per case and $50 or $55 for a set of gears, for one set of gears for the rear and one set for the front. So you are looking at $300 to put aluminum diff cases and the proper gears in this thing. Because the ones you get from Traxxas, yes, I know Traxxas also sells an upgraded version, but at this point, I'm honestly not trusting anything that has their name on it related to gears, because you know, these things were supposed to have this great gear case and great drivetrain in this thing for $800, and they're no better than the Kratons at all. I've had worse luck at this point. So I'm still running the plastic diff cases on this, and this has the monkey metal gears in it at the moment. And the next time either one of these blow out, I'm going to start replacing out the whole entire thing with the aluminum diff case and the Vidavon gears. I honestly, it hurts to do that because you're already now putting, you know, $300 more into an $800 car, and it's just, it gets ridiculous. And I know a lot of guys, you know, you don't want to spend that much money. Neither do I. But I'm in the car at this point, and if I want to continue to drive it, I'm kind of, you know, what do I do? So that's where I'm at. I'm not going to do it all in one shot. Whatever diff goes out next, I'm going to replace it with the upgraded Vidavon and go from there. But that is my biggest bone to pick with Traxxas and this car, are the gears in this, and the absolute garbage metal that was used for the gears, because for the price of the car, it should have had way better gears. And again, guys, you know, I get it. Arrma also has some trash gears. However, the car didn't cost $800. And that's the difference. You know, you expect if you're going to spend another $250 more for a car, it better have better parts in it and stuff that, you know, you would expect to be heavier duty, like the gears and drivetrain. But it's not there. And that's the problem. That's the issue I have with all this. I like the sledge. I have fun with the car. And obviously, I'm continuing to work on and upgrade it. So I like it enough to do that. I'm just saying, for the $250 price difference from that car to that car, I'm just not seeing it. I don't see the changes or improvements that are $250 worth. So that's, you know, where I'm at with the car. And, you know, after owning this for a few months now, and obviously owning many Kratons and building them, you kind of get an understanding of what's worth it, what's not, and what's worth putting money into and what is not. And, you know, they did a lot of great things with this car. They made a lot of things nice and very easy. The A-arms, the suspension, the battery box, wing mounts, and a lot of stuff. But the drivetrain was a huge fail on this car, in my opinion. It's just, they should have done way better for the price of this car, and that's where it's at. But other than that, guys, you know, as you guys can see, great success. If this video goes out before the first run on this thing, me and Trevor are hopefully taking this and some cars out with the ramp here this weekend. Going to have some fun. But, you know, a lot of people asked me and been commenting down below on almost every video about the Traxxas and the price difference and what I've seen problems with. So I figured I'd put this little video together, and hope I didn't bore you guys too much. But anybody out there looking at either one of the cars, you know, if you're out there thinking, well, should I buy a Kraton or should I buy a sledge? Well, all this comes down also to your level of bashing. You know, if you're just running around the yard and not getting too crazy, you know, either car is going to be fine, honestly. But if you are going to go out there and bash it pretty heavily and send it, you know, 20, 30, 40 feet in the air, you're going to start running into problems with the drivetrain on this thing. It's going to be an issue no matter what, on either car. Even on grass or jumping it, both cars you're going to run into differential issues. And it all depends on a lot of things, guys. I mean, it's not just jumps. It's, you know, using that trigger at the wrong place at the wrong times. You know, you come down off a jump with the throttle wide open, and something's got to give. So there's lots of things, not just heavy jumps, that can play into differential issues. But what I'm saying is, if you're looking for a cheaper platform to start out with and upgrade slowly, I mean, I would go with the Kraton. Just because, you know, you can buy this car for $550 ready to run. And you know what? If you strip and blow apart your rear differential for, you know, with gears, probably 60, 65 bucks, you could put an upgraded aluminum one on there, and you can do it to the front and rear. You can make this whole drivetrain aluminum cases and heavy-duty gears for pretty much as one differential case for the sledge. So that's just my opinion. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to carry this on too much longer, but I just kind of wanted to make a little overview video, and I hope some of you guys enjoyed it, and maybe it was helpful. But that is going to do it. And again, guys, this was not a bash video on Traxxas. It's just my opinion on the two of them after owning them, and my beefs with the price of this car mainly and what you get. But it is fun. It's been a fun car. And you guys seen any of my videos out there, I have a lot of fun with it. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. I hope you all enjoyed the video. So until next time, y'all be safe. Be careful out there. Peace out, everybody.